surrounding Baltimore. Don't ask him about preseason games, oh no. Stuffing things in Griffin Basso. Despite it being on the internet, he can call it what he wants, so Glenn Clark Radio. Glenn Clark Radio. Glenn Clark Radio. Duke sucks.
Is this where you see him making his hay in the NFL? Like this is a
Yes.
red zone player?
Yes, it's a red zone player. It takes a lot of people a long time to figure out that they are not as good in the red zone, right? And he is he's a great red zone threat because of his 40-inch vertical, because of his 6'4" stature, and his ability.
He catches it all.
Yes,
He's
his
good at
ability
that.
to go up there. So now you add 40-inch vertical, confidence of snagging the ball. Man, you know what I say for the DB, T's and P's, baby, thoughts and prayers.
That's Steve Smith Sr. You're familiar with his work, chatting about Baltimore Ravens third-round pick Ja'Kobi Lane out of USC. Good morning. It is a Tuesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. That show is, of course, 89 with Steve Smith Sr. and James Palmer. This is sort of like we're going to start transitioning after today. Like we'll do less reaction to the draft. I mean, we'll still try to catch up with some folks from here or there, and we'll start talking about moving into the Ravens season. But today will be the last day that our focus necessarily is the draft. If the Orioles had played last night, maybe we would have already been moved on to screaming about something related to the Orioles. But we'll do that a little bit more today, and then starting tomorrow, we'll kind of shift focus a little bit. Coming up on the program, we are going to talk to the Hall of Famer Rod Woodson. Our buddy Mike Golic Jr. will check in with us. He loved the selection of Vega Ioane in particular. So we're going to talk to those guys here in a minute. And it's a little bit about what the Ravens did and maybe a bit more about where the Ravens are in all of this. For what it's worth, just to follow up, because Steve Smith Sr. was very effusive in that praise that you heard about Ja'Kobi Lane, but some of these questions that I keep coming back to are like, what exactly is Ja'Kobi Lane as a football player? Like, it's not necessarily all sunshine and roses. Here's a little bit more of what Steve Smith Sr. had to say.
He's not going to wake up tomorrow and become fast. Just like a short receiver is rarely going to wake up and become 6'1", right? And so that is what he has, and he's working with it. He does a really good job. Now, he does get caught up a little bit because he does lack the speed. And because he lacks the speed, man, he doesn't create any separation. But I also don't see any creativity at the line of scrimmage to create some free access for himself as well. One of the biggest things I wrote down is no speed. He's a possession receiver that gets a little high in his routes. Yes, he can learn. How effective and how comfortable is he in doing it? That falls on him. That's where we talk about fits, organizations, coaches. That's where all that comes into play, because you got to be able to be coached out of it or into it, and there has to be a comfortability that the player actually believes what the coach is asking you to do.
All right, so yes, obviously. And this sort of speaks to what I was talking about yesterday about Ja'Kobi Lane, which is, like, is Ja'Kobi Lane maybe just here to be your red zone target? And in their mind, they say, we don't think it's the end of the world if our third-round pick is not a complete receiver at this point. We want him to do some very specific things for us, and to us that was worthy of spending a third-round pick because we think those are his strengths. I don't know. I don't know. But it's been interesting the last couple days. Like our friend Femi Ayanbadejo was tweeting today that he thinks that right now Elijah Surratt would be the Ravens' number 3 wide receiver.
Over Tez.
Over Tez.
Wow.
I was like, wow. And it is kind of crazy that we are as bullish as we are about Tez Walker, given the fact that he had literally 8 targets. 8 targets.
Yeah, but how many touchdowns did he score?
I understand, but all of last year, 8 total targets. And I believe 11 total targets for his career. And yet, because he's made the most of some of them, we have this feeling of I think he's ready for a bigger role. But to be a number 3 receiver, someone who's essentially a starter.
Right. Is that the reason that he was able to take advantage of those limited targets?
Right, because
nobody
nobody
knows who
thought
he
the ball
is.
was coming his way, so they just weren't paying. I don't know. So it's an interesting spot that they're in where, you look at the receiver room and you're like, okay, I think there's a lot there. And you can even see a role for LeJontay Wester in certain scenarios. But how many of them are you confident in? Now, to be fair to the 2 rookies, they haven't had an opportunity to prove that to you, and who knows? Maybe they will. The Ravens' draft history with mid to late round receivers is very, very bad. Very, 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 very bad.
Well, there was
Yeah. Keep trying.
Tylan Wallace.
Uh-huh.
My friend and I were doing this. They're doing this exercise over the weekend.
They haven't been great at receiver at all, but the ones that have hit have
Miles
all been
Boykin?
first and second round picks. Yeah, Miles Boykin. Torrey Smith was a hit, second round pick.
Yeah.
The rest of them that hit were first round picks. Even if you want to say Hollywood Brown is a measured hit, but he was a first round pick. Rashad Bateman's a
Yamon Figures.
There you go, Yamon Figures. David Reed. We can just keep naming returners that they let run out there and be a wide receiver a little bit. It's awful. Now I get it. One guy can change that. It might very well be that Elijah Surratt proves to be a stud, and we just don't know it yet. I don't know, but it's an interesting room that they've put together.
Oh, Tandon Doss. Yeah.
Right. Joe Flacco picked him personally.
Did he really?
Super Bowl champion. Super Bowl champion. I like Tandon Doss a lot. I didn't really want to pile on Tandon Doss because he's a great guy.
We're not. He's one of the best drafted receivers ever in the history of the
One day I was just in Indianapolis for work. I think we were at the Combine or something like that, and this dude literally, I'm on an escalator and I'm going one way. And another guy's on an escalator going a different way, and the guy starts screaming my name. Glenn! I'm in Indianapolis, you know what I mean? And I don't know where to look because I'm on an escalator. As it turns, I turn around, and he's down. He's now down basically at the bottom floor, and it's Tandon Doss.
Oh, right.
And I'm like, hey, man. Now you're in that weird spot, you're trying to figure out where you're going to meet, to say hello.
You both get on the escalator at the same time.
Right now we're both, and it's the same thing, it just becomes a sitcom bit for the next 10 minutes.
Maybe it's Michael Campanaro, 7th round pick. Post round 2 drafted Ravens receiver, who's the best ever.
I really don't.
Darren Waller was drafted as a receiver, technically.
He was drafted as a receiver,
So
but he
it's
didn't
him.
do anything as a Raven. So
That's true. Yeah.
Does not qualify.
Is it Chris Moore?
It's Brandon Stokely is the answer.
Oh, okay.
Brandon Stokely is definitively the answer, even if you were badly off on what his Ravens numbers were versus his career numbers last week. The answer is definitively Brandon Stokely, but it's only Brandon Stokely. That's the only one.
Devin Duvernay.
Yes, correct.
James Prochet.
Yes, correct. Keep going.
Yeah, that's it.
You're naming them.
I think I've named them all.
Yep, I think you're right. It is
Jordan Lasley, sorry. Jaleel Scott and Jordan Lasley.
Jaleel Scott and Jordan Lasley, who I, like you, have probably combined into one person. This is definitely a Rio Ruiz, Renato Nunez situation. It's Rio Nunez. Yeah. Again, they might be just fine. It might be that they've got studs, and I don't know what Declan Doyle is going to do with this group of guys, but it's interesting that we are not necessarily concerned about it, and yet, boy, there's just not a whole lot there. I saw, as I mentioned, the tweet from Femi. In that same tweet, he suggested, is there a world where they could be looking to shop Rashad Bateman for a center? I just don't know what team exists that has a center and is we don't need to have a center.
Well, Bengals drafted 2.
Which two did they draft?
They drafted Lou, the Auburn
Right.
one,
Lou,
and
who
then the A&M one as well, who I don't know.
But I don't think that
Yeah, I
people
don't know.
believe that and I don't remember the guy's name either.
Zune's on or something?
Yeah, I don't think people believe that he was like a step in and play type of center. I think
you're
Lou
right.
they did believe is someone who could step in and play. And that's what I was trying to like. I should have spent time today going over all the teams that drafted centers. Like, is there a team that drafted a center that also has a veteran center that maybe they'd be willing to part ways with because you can't start both of them? I don't know. I admittedly. Is Ted Karras still in Cincinnati?
I don't know why he wouldn't be unless he retired, right? Like would that be the?
He does appear to still be with the Bengals.
Okay, then
So,
they're just preparing for him to
or is he not?
exit. I don't know.
He signed in September 25. He signed a 1-year contract. Hang on a second. Now, hang on just one fancy second here.
Ted Karras.
He signed. Yes, he signed a deal that kept him through. He's under contract for this season.
Okay.
So could he? Yeah, there's not a lot of money. You can't save any money by cutting him. No, you can. You could save. They could save nearly $3 million.
It seems like they think that Connor Lew is the successor to Ted Karras and
Right.
not to play this year, but
But is it possible that they say we could use that $3 million and they could release him? I mean, like the Ravens are clearly going to explore who gets released. The biggest. These are the themes that we're going to continue talking about. Like we can now set the tone for what our conversation is about the Ravens until the season begins, unless they do something else. We're going to be talking about whether or not they have a center. Like that's probably going to be the most prominent. Like who is the center, and will it hurt them if it's someone without experience? That is going to be a prominent topic of conversation. We'll continue to talk about Nnamdi Madubuike, obviously, and is he going to play? If he does play, is he still Nnamdi Madubuike? Like that is going to continue to be a big topic of conversation, right? There'll be some mild interest in the punter. I'm interested. I did the morning show on WBAL today. They're having Eric DaCosta on tomorrow. Don't know if I should take that personally or not. But like,
oh, sorry, they took Brian Parker, the Bengals, the Duke center.
Oh,
I don't
he
know.
definitely-
Yeah.
huh? But he lingered for a while, right?
He went
he was like a sixth round
round
pick.
six.
I wanna
Yeah, he went
say.
in round 6. So I guess
So maybe they don't
everybody hates
think-
him.
They don't think of him as that guy. That is interesting. That was the other one they took.
They're listing him as a guard.
Okay.
The Bengals are,
All right.
which I don't know. That could mean anything, but
I say all of this to say. Let me go back for a second. I say all of this to say that I think, to me, one of the conversations is about the specialists and how committed to these specialists are you? Like, how long are you willing to wait if they're not plus players? Clearly, they've waited this long with Tyler Loop, so there's no reason for me to think that like he's one missed kick away from not being their kicker. But I would argue that
yeah, he's way past that. Yeah.
there's no reason why he shouldn't be. So where are you at with the punt? They waited 3 years for Jordan Stout to be good. He ended up being really good, and then they didn't have him any longer. So maybe in hindsight, was it worth the 1 year of a good Jordan Stout that you didn't let go of him after year 2? Like, those are questions to me that are interesting, but they're interesting to me. I'm not sure how interesting they are to everybody else. I think the tight end depth is a fascinating question. And, you know, W New episode of Rita and Glenn coming later today, and Rita suggests that even after drafting 2 tight ends, she still thinks they should sign David Njoku. I said yesterday I'd be surprised by that because now all of a sudden you have a crowded room, right? Like you got 4 guys, and you don't know that you have 4 spots available. And now you're going to add in a 5th guy, but some of the way that I think is definitely influenced by what I'm used to from John Harbaugh. And maybe there's just a new way of doing business where Jesse Minter says, give me five dudes, and we'll let them battle it out. And whoever's ready, if that means we're cutting draft picks, we'll cut draft picks. We're okay with that. I mean, the Ravens have definitely cut draft picks before, but usually like 6th or 7th round. Are they willing to cut a 4th round pick? All these are things that we're gonna have to learn, and we can't necessarily know. But I do think center, Nnamdi Madubuike, tight end depth, wide receiver depth are kind of at the top of my most interesting questions facing the Ravens moving towards the season. is there a question about, like, could there still be an addition somewhere else on the field that we don't expect? Like, a lot of us thought they would maybe end up taking another inside linebacker during the course of the draft, given Teddy Buchanan's injury, and they didn't do that. So is it possible that, like, they're looking at the waiver wire and they're looking at the free agent market, and there could still be somebody brought in there that could end up being a football player? Or are they like very bullish about Dom DeLuca? Maybe they're just going to put all the Penn State undrafted free agents on their team next year. That'll be
Still got Jay Higgins, right? He's healthy, right?
Yeah. I mean, they do. It's another undrafted free agent.
Trenton Simpson.
Look, I think he's obviously the guy until Teddy Buchanan's ready. And I don't know exactly when that's going to be. That seemed like a gruesome injury. When I talked to him last week, he suggested that he was feeling good. But, obviously he's not going to come out and say, like, training camp or bust or anything along those lines. So I don't know exactly what the time frame will be for Teddy Buchanan. But
he tore his ACL, December 14th.
Yeah, like, I it's very hard for me to believe that, like, he's ready at the beginning of the season.
Is that basically, when did Mahomes tear his? Is it also December?
I thought it was before that. Wasn't it?
It might have been.
I think it was before that for Mahomes. I think it was November. I maybe I'm wrong. I mean, it wasn't like they were clearly already in trouble.
It was the same day. Yeah.
Was it really?
December 14th.
Son of a bitch. How about that?
So now it's a race. Who's going to come back?
Right. That's what's driving both of them.
Yeah.
They're actually texting with each other every day. Those are the things, and we'll be talking about them as we continue on throughout the course of the offseason. Orioles will get back in action tonight. They'll take on the Astros for the first of 3. It looks kind of gross outside. Is it supposed to? I know tomorrow there's a lot of rain in the forecast.
I know tomorrow it is. The way it looked, I mean, the way coming in when I checked this morning, it was like it's going to be overcast but no rain. It is currently raining right now, so I don't.
But
know.
right, but obviously they're not playing the game right now.
No, they're not.
Griffin,
Yeah.
Right, like they're going to play it
it's
later.
It's not raining hard either. You could play in.
Right, I understand, but they're not going to play right now. They didn't move the game up to 12 o'clock like they did on Saturday.
Goodness. Gosh, hopefully they never do that again.
Yeah.
I mean,
you think the whole weekend
it
was
looks like starting to pick up though a little bit.
Okay,
like,
but
gradually.
now what about like later when they play the game?
Well,
that's going to be
raining
at
right
6.
now. That's
right, I understand
the
that. But the game is going to be at 6:30.
Well,
is it going to rain at 6:30?
I don't know.
Dynamite stuff.
How much?
Dynamite.
Right now it is raining. Like what?
They don't call him the best weather analyst in the business for nothing, folks. When are you doing our next movie review, by the way? What's?
I mean, it feels like It feels like this is a busy.
Yeah, this
week,
might not be a great week
so
for it.
Week,
All right, next week.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm gonna do.
Did we decide Harold and Kumar?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's not a good one with Drew. I don't think Drew's ever seen Harold and Kumar.
We could tell Drew to watch it.
I'm not opposed to that, actually. I think that's a good idea. Have we discussed with Ken when we're going to pay the bet off?
Not with Ken. I was trying to figure out what Tim's schedule is first.
Okay. All right.
I guess
all right.
I don't know.
Maybe but Ken might have to wait till school's over, perhaps.
Okay.
In order for that to work.
All right. I feel like it might be easier just, hey, Ken, be here.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's that
I think
easy
we can
for
do
him.
that to him.
All right, we'll see. Because we also wanted to be a day that Drew's here because he is one of the winners. And so we want him to be able to enjoy the Orange Crush wings while Ken sits back and enjoys his Malort wings for being our draft loser. God. Might just ruin wings. I'm also worried that Tim's going to make them and they're going to actually be edible. Like that he's not going to fully lean in.
Tell him to load up on like whatever
That's
the recipe calls.
Right, like more.
Quadruple it with them.
Yeah,
that was my mistake with the cookies when I made them. They like actually tasted good.
Yeah, they were okay. They weren't that bad. Today's show also brought to you by the print issue of Press Box, which is available for free at your Baltimore area High's Dairy stores. Anywhere around town where you find Press Box, you can read it all at PressBoxOnline.com. Great cover story from Bill Ordine, all about the future of Preakness. Go pick it up today. All right, let's continue to break down where the Ravens are after the NFL draft. Joining us now, he is, of course, part of the Ravens broadcast team. He is a Hall of Famer and a Super Bowl 35 champion. He's the great Rod Woodson, and he's back with us here on GCR. Rod, it's Glenn. It's always great to catch up with you, man. Thank you so much for taking the time for us.
Oh, no, it's my pleasure. I appreciate you having me on.
Rod, I wonder, like, what your thought was. There are people that argue when you have the 14th overall pick, you can't use that pick on a guard. That pick is too valuable. You don't draft there very often. everyone seems to think that Vega Ioane is a very pro-ready guy that might be a stalwart for some time. But is there any trepidation for you at all about using a pick that high on a guard, given just maybe the lack of priority that we put on the position in general?
Yeah, no, I think you're going to take the highest player you have graded on your board, irrelevant of the position, especially. And I would think, he was one of those players that was up there on the board, irrelevant of the position. But you know that, the way that the Ravens have played over the years with a run first mentality, you got to have solid interior offensive linemen. You just have to. I know, it's not a marquee position per se because tackles are the ones that get the headlines. And Linderbaum being a center, he gets those type of players get the headlines, but guards are a critical piece of it. I mean, that's like saying D tackles. You don't really need good D tackles in the National Football League, and that's not a true statement.
Does it concern you at all that they drafted guard and yet they didn't draft a center? And with Tyler Linderbaum gone, their options at the present moment are Corey Bullock, who hasn't played, Danny Pinter, who has started 3 career games at center, and an undrafted free agent who happened to line up next to Vega Ioane. Like, does that concern you at all where they find themselves given the center position?
That is a little concerning, but you got to hope that it works its way out. One of those guys become the lead dog and showing that through the OTAs and the training camp mini camp and then the training camps that they should be the number one player on that at that position. So hopefully it works its way out. You just never really know how players are going to play on the given year. New coaching staff. So hopefully. Obviously the offensive line didn't play great last year, but 2 years ago they played extremely well. So you got to hope that with the new coaching staff that they bring everybody together and they put everybody together and they start making some plays for them and they can find that true position at the center that it's going to take Linderbaum's spot.
Or maybe Vega Ioane is so good that you don't actually even need a center. You could just line up 4 offensive linemen and let him do the snapping too. Maybe that could be the case. Rod Woodson is with us here on GCR. Rod, one of the topics we've been discussing a lot is, like, they draft 2 wide receivers, one in the 3rd round, Ja'Kobi Lane, one in the 4th round in Elijah Surratt. But I don't think that either of those guys immediately moves above anyone on the current depth chart. You saw Tez Walker last year. Like, when they threw the ball his way, good things happened, but they just didn't throw the ball his way very often. He had 8 total targets on the season. Did you see a guy in Tez Walker, given what he did, that you think is ready to make the jump to being more of a full-time contributor, like a number 3 receiver on this team?
Well, he has to. I mean, it's, obviously the way it's lined up at this moment, he definitely has to. I mean, not only – at that point, we're really thinking about we're talking about the 3rd receiver and not the 2nd receiver.
Yeah.
And my more concern is who's the 2nd tight end.
That's fair, right?
That's what concerns me more than anything because they're going to be in 12 personnel. They like being in 12. I mean, I think Lamar plays better, and especially with his RPOs and his zone reads are out of the 12 personnel package. And, obviously, if you're in a 12 personnel package, your defensive ends are a little bit wider, so it's going to take a little longer to get to them. So, that's my more concern than the 3rd receiver.
That's an interesting point. And they did obviously draft 2 tight ends, but in the 4th and 5th rounds is where they drafted them. To me, like, I thought, okay, well, you have a crowded room now, right? Because you have Mark Andrews, you have Durham Smith, who they brought in from the Bears, who obviously has worked with Ben Johnson before, so he's got that relationship. Now you got 2 draft picks. That probably closes the room. But I was listening to an argument that, like, maybe you go ahead and bring in a David Njoku anyway, and who cares how crowded the room is? You let them fight it out and see who makes the team. But you need to prioritize having another reliable pass catcher on the field, even with 4 tight ends on the roster now. Do you think they should still go ahead and try to bring in a guy like David Njoku?
I mean, if they can upgrade the roster, you always do that. Now, I don't know exactly where the cap situation is with the Ravens, so that's the issue that you might have with a veteran player, especially like Ja'Kobi. So it's he is a solid player, but do you bring him in the roster? Do you put him on the roster? I think if you do that, you're gonna have to get rid of somebody. So not either that position or another position. So I think you gotta really have forethought upon how you want to do that, especially if you want to bring in a veteran. But when you start thinking about what the Ravens have done in the previous years, and I don't know what their packages are going to look like this year, but they were in 12, they were in 22, they were in 23 personnel. I mean, they ran a lot of different packages, very similar to when I came through as a player. We had all these packages, and now mostly everybody's in 11 personnel. But the one thing that the Ravens have done a really good job with is having a lot of different packages for Lamar, and Lamar, he's been very successful under that.
He is. Rod Woodson, part of the Ravens broadcast team on WBAL 98 Rock. Hall of Famer. He's with us here on GCR. Rod, we haven't chatted in a little while. I wonder what your thoughts were on the addition of Trey Hendrickson. We all know how crazy things ended up with the Max Crosby stuff, and I know that you're still very connected with the Raiders. Yeah. But ultimately, it lands on Trey Hendrickson, and removed from the craziness of the Max Crosby trade. I still think that is a massively significant move, and I find myself thinking that I'm far more comfortable with, hey, you can expect maybe a jump from Mike Green. Obviously, they spend their second-round pick on Zion Young to bring in another edge rusher. I'm way more comfortable with that when there's going to have to be a lot of attention paid to Trey Hendrickson, and that might open things up to maybe help the develop of some of these younger edge rushers you drafted the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, and I said this before, is that even if you brought in Max Crosby, but bringing in Trey in, which is, he's a really good player, solid edge rusher, has done a great job, when he was in Cincinnati. He's going to come over here and he's going to do a great job. But my key concern for the whole defensive line, because this player is going to make it go or not go, that's Nnamdi Madubuike.
Mm-hmm.
If Nnamdi's playing, they gotta double Nnamdi. But if not, what are they going to do? They're going to slide protection toward Trey throughout every game. That's going to be the game plan. But you need that interior rush that Nnamdi had there over the years. And, I mean, he was a run stopper. He can get to the quarterback. I mean, he was just a playmaker. So you couldn't always slide away from him. So if he's not playing and, Trey Henderson, he is the best rusher you have, what are they going to do? They're going to slide protection toward Trey, wherever he might be.
That's fair. I mean,
so my key concern is just Nnamdi. If Nnamdi comes back, man, that's a really good defensive line.
And if
Nnamdi doesn't come back, that I think it really hurts.
Do we read into that at all, Rod? The fact that they didn't. Obviously, there was the report from Adam Schefter a couple weeks ago that suggested that he believes that he had this surgery and he's going to have the opportunity to continue playing. But if you combine that with the fact that the Ravens didn't really do anything to address the defensive line this offseason and, didn't take a defensive tackle until I think the 7th round of the NFL draft, does those context clues kind of make you think that they believe Nnamdi Madubuike is going to be a contributor this year?
I mean, in my conspiracy theory life, yes, that's what I'm saying to myself. Right?
Wait, hang on a second. How deep of a conspiracy theorist are you? Because we could have a really fun conversation now, right?
Well, I'm not as big. I am not as big as Marcus Allen. Marcus Allen is probably the biggest
really
theorist I've ever talked to in my lifetime.
Does Marcus believe that the moon landing is real?
You have no idea. I mean, Marcus has a lot of different beliefs that you would be like, when I first started talking to Marcus and he started saying all these different things that he believed in, I was really shocked. I was a head scratcher. I said, man, I know I have I have some, but I wasn't where Marcus Allen is at. So
Oh, that's wild.
But I do have a couple. So my one thing is that they didn't take a D tackle. So is that telling me, or is the tea leaves saying that Nami Makabike, he's going to play? I'm hoping that that's the case because first of all, Nami's a really good man, and you hate to see his career cut short because of an injury, and hopefully he can come back and play at the level that he played at because when he got hurt, we all saw last year the defensive line and the defense himself were getting pressure on the quarterback struggle.
It's a game changer. It's absolutely a game changer. Like it's not just a piece. It utterly, completely changes everything that you do, whether or not Nami Matabike is on the field. There's no doubt about it. Rod, what are you interested in learning still about? Obviously it's a new coaching staff. Clearly with Jesse Minter, we're expecting there to be changes defensively. Knowing the way that he operated in LA with the Chargers, what do you think might be most different for a Jesse Minter-led Ravens defense?
Well, I'm hoping that Jesse sees the talent that he has, and I know he has a certain system, right? And now all D coordinators, all offensive coaches have their system, but you still have to see what the players do well and allow them to do that in whatever capacity. So, I mean, football is not overly complicated. It's not sending anybody to the moon. So it's going to be cover 3, cover 4, cover 6. There's going to be some inverted cover 3s, right, where we cloud the corner and all that junk. So, you got an over front, under front. You got your tight front. You got your even. So it's not overly complicated. But my question is the players that you have on your roster on the defensive side, are there pressure guys that like to get penetration? On the back end, are we more of a man-to-man zone concepts? What are we going to be? And I think you got to see what the players do well and to put them in those situations consistently, and that's where you get your best outcomes on game days.
I think it's interesting, and I think it's something that obviously we'll learn a little bit as we watch during the course of like OTAs and training camp practice, but obviously we're going to have to learn a whole lot more about as we get into the games themselves. I saw – so Rod, tell me this, because the event that you were at, the golf event yesterday, was that an actual Raiders event?
Yeah, that was Freddie Litnikoff's event.
Okay, all right. So when
Freddie's been running that for a while.
When you do something like that and like a Raiders fan sees you, are they – like angry at you about the Ravens and the Max Crosby thing from this offseason? Like, do you get any grief from anybody at the Heads?
No, they were like, thank you.
Oh, wow, because they get to keep Max Crosby in the end. That's a fair point.
You get to keep one of the best defensive linemen in the league.
That's a fair point, right?
So now they don't like me wearing the purple, right? Just like the other team that was black and gold, they didn't like me wearing other colors. So it's like, hey guys, they're just clothes. They're just clothes. That's all they are, just clothes. They're just uniforms that I play with at times.
I appreciate that. We happen to love you wearing the purple, so that is what it is. We'll accept it. And, of course, you can remind them one of these teams you won a Super Bowl with. So, there's that.
That's what I did remind them yesterday. I reminded them that our 2000, our Bullets of Baltimore, was arguably the best defense in the history of football in one given year.
And I think
so we did have that argument.
And I think Rich Gannon still has nightmares about Tony Siragusa. I think that might still be the case all these years later. Hey,
I think his shoulder still hurts.
I wouldn't blame him. I wouldn't blame him one bit if that were the case. Rod, I'd be remiss because we just haven't caught up for a little while if I let you go without asking you about Jerry and all the years that I know your friendship goes beyond just when you came back to work for the team these last few years. But what's it meant to you to be around Jerry Sandusky and to see him now ride off into the sunset and get to go be a grandfather?
Yeah, I mean he's such a great individual. He's great in the booth. He's a great person. And the crazy thing is, when you get to be in the booth with different play-by-play guys, they know Jerry knows football. Like, he's a football family. His dad was a coach. He knows football. So it was really refreshing to like be around like another football guy who was a great play-by-play guy. And he you know, the great thing about him is that the way he spoke to the masses on the airwaves was outstanding, and it was understandable, right? Sometimes I talk in football terms, and Jerry has to get me at times to go, okay, I need you to like come on back and tell the guys what you mean when you say that, because everybody doesn't absolutely know football like we were talking about. So, you know, being around that, but being around the man himself was just a great man. So our friendship will continue. Just unfortunately, I won't be in the booth with him, and I'm gonna miss that.
He obviously was 101. There's no doubt about that. And we appreciate the fact that we got to share the two of you together for the last few years. That's been an awful lot of fun. Rod Woodson, always appreciate taking the time for us. Thanks for hopping on this morning. Let's chat again real soon, all right?
Absolutely. I appreciate it.
Rod Woodson, the Hall of Famer and Super Bowl 35 champion, part of the Ravens broadcast team. Appreciate him taking the time for us. You know, a couple of interesting thoughts in there. One being, what he brings up, it does really lead some credence to the idea of just sign David Njoku anyway. And if that means maybe the Ravens genuinely believe that one of these two tight ends is ready to be a game changer on day one. Isaiah Likely was a 4th-round pick, right? And you could see very quickly that, like, he was ready to be a contributor. So maybe they're not as concerned. And they might say, look, Durham Smythe is experienced and is going to play because, you know, he's a good blocker. He's going to make some catches this year. Like, we're not as worried about it. We think that we've got enough that as long as Mark Andrews stays healthy. And again, that's always the concerning part of the conversation is like, well, what if Mark Andrews gets hurt in July? And now your tight end room is Durham Smythe and 2 mid-round picks. I really thought, like, that's it. That's your room. But there's still probably a very compelling argument for just sign David Njoku anyway and go figure it out. If you get through camp, I mean, if it costs you an outrageous, I can't imagine David Njoku is costing you an outrageous amount of money at this point. If he could get an outrageous amount of money, I presume he would have gotten it already.
Right. Like, he's not getting as much as Likely got.
Not close to what Likely got. I mean, not anywhere. I mean, Likely basically got the Mark Andrews deal, more or less. Yeah. It's not going to be anywhere. If that was an option, he's not waiting because he's got good options. He's waiting because he's desperate for somebody to want to sign him. What I want to say is, like, if you sign David Njoku, sign him, and if the other two guys are just that good and that ready, I mean, move on. I don't think they would do that. I think I'm asking for something that's not practical, but could they move on from Smythe? Could they say, hey, man, appreciate you, but ultimately in the end, we got 4 tight ends, and you're going to be the odd man out? I am getting more and more convinced of just signing David Njoku anyway. There was news this morning that probably
Taysom Hill's out there.
But didn't he kind of say he was retired at the end of last year?
Okay.
But I thought it was one of those weird bits, too, where he was like, I don't know.
I mean, he is old. He's going to be 36. This will be his age 36 season. So,
I mean, he probably still has a little bit in him.
Yeah.
Like, probably still has something. Joe Fagnano, the Ravens, apparently signed to a 3-year deal. Now,
congrats, Joey.
That doesn't necessarily mean anything.
Joey F.
Because he's an undrafted free agent, and I'm guessing that, like, there's basically no money. If like, he's somehow good, then I have no idea. I don't think it's all that significant. It might be their way of letting you know Diego Pavia ain't even the 3rd quarterback here. Right now, this is our 3rd quarterback. Diego Pavia's be very clear.
Maybe they're trying to light a
He's
fire under
just
Diego.
here for a rookie minicamp.
This makes me want to bet on Diego even more.
There you go. But interesting that news came out.
And by
today.
that, I mean once he gets to the UFL. That's when I want to bet on him.
Next year.
Can he not join this year?
I don't know how that
would
works.
be the most electric thing.
It's very weird.
If you see a guy doesn't get drafted this weekend,
Right. And he
then
says,
boom, this weekend
the
he's
hell
playing
with
for
trying out for the
Birmingham.
NFL. I'm going right to this route because you would presume that like the guys that don't even get tryouts aren't good enough to just like be on the team immediately in the UFL. Be a wild choice for Diego Pavia to be like, hey man, I'm trying to think of who the quarterbacks are in the UFL. I know isn't Leah one of them?
Oh, is he?
I don't know if he's a starter.
McCarron has like always been.
Does seem like A.J. McCarron's like a professional UFL quarterback.
Matt Corral from Ole Miss.
Okay,
Yeah.
who's the guy that was like always the MVP of the spring leagues? That like Perez, is he still there?
Yes, he is. Luis Perez. He's an Arlington Renegade.
Okay.
Jack Plummer, is that different than Jake?
Well, he's definitely not Jake Plummer.
Yeah.
There's no doubt that Jake Plummer is not playing football. I believe he's doing mushrooms somewhere.
Oh, he is?
100%.
Well, Jack Plummer and Dorian Thompson-Robinson are with the Orlando Storm.
Okay, all right.
Those
That's a rough,
those seem like the
rough
big
scene
names.
for Dorian Thompson-Robinson if he's backing up Jack Plummer. That's
Well, maybe. Well, it just says.
rough times.
Yeah, it says. Well, I don't know which one's playing for the Orlando Storm.
Oh, in
Those
D.C.
are the
it's
two.
Teamu, the former Arizona
Teamu's been there-
quarterback.
Yeah, he's been there forever.
All right, there we go. We did that part of the program. And now UFL corner. There you have it.
We can make that a segment.
We'll come back in and we'll catch up with our buddy Mike Golic Jr., get his thoughts on where the Ravens are, and discuss some other NFL topics from the weekend as we continue along on a Tuesday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. Your car is more than just a ride. It's an investment. At Leading Edge Auto Body in Mount Washington, we've spent over 20 years perfecting the art of repair. From high-end imports to your trusted daily driver, we handle all makes and models with elite precision. Our team holds the highest honors in the industry, including ASE Master, iCar Platinum, and specialized aluminum certifications. We make it easy with free towing, pickup, and delivery because at Leading Edge, customer satisfaction comes first. And remember, with insurance, it's your car and it's your choice. Choose the experts. Leading Edge Auto Body. Quality you can see. Service you can trust. Go to leadingedgeautobody.com today.
The weather's getting cooler, so when you and your family are picking out a place to dine, be it lunch or dinner, let's make it nice and easy. Now, with 2 great locations, the Costas Inn remains your #1 destination. Whether you want to get steamed crabs in the full Costas menu out at the original location at 4100 North Point Boulevard, or sample the complete menu minus the steamed crabs at the new location above the grandstand at the Timonium Racetrack. Costas is your place to go. Check out the website CostasInn.com for a look at the menu, and if you want to plan that crab feast, call 410-477-1975. The Costas Inn.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
This is Byron Warnken. If you've been injured in Maryland, you know you need a great lawyer. Look no further than us, Warnken LLC. You've seen my picture on billboards around town. You've seen me on TV. Now I'm lucky enough to get to be here with Stan. Please give us a call. 443-RESULTS. It is not just a phone number, it's a mission. 443-RESULTS. Or visit us online at warnkenlaw.com. That's WARNKENLAW.com.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
All right, back in here on GCR as we continue along on a Tuesday edition of the program. Today's show is also brought to you by County Sports Zone. CountySports.zone is the website for everything you need to know about high school sports here in the state of Maryland. Scores, schedules, rankings, all of it. They got you covered. CountySports.zone, proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. This man I know was very high on the Ravens' selection of Vega Ioane in the first round of the NFL draft. He is a friend of ours, a media man extraordinaire. He's our buddy Mike Golic Jr., and he is with us now here on GCR. Mike, what's going on, brother? It's Glenn in Baltimore. How are you?
Good. Always good to be on with you, Glenn. Appreciate it. And, excited to talk about premium beef with you guys.
Yeah.
The Ravens fulfilling the fan fiction. You know, when I saw this pick mocked to Baltimore, like early or midway through the draft process, this was the fan fiction I was most hoping for. So shout out to Eric DaCosta and the Ravens for making it happen.
All right, real quick before we get to that, have you tried the banana pudding cream pies yet?
I have not yet,
right.
No.
You're going to be disappointed. Don't. Just skip it. Just skip it entirely.
Oh, wow.
Just don't even
Okay.
bother. I saw you post about I'm going to have to try what was the Dairy Queen thing? What was the
Dairy Queen's doing a cinnamon toast crunch hard shell coating for their ice cream cones, which I need to get on the horn with my dad because so where I'm at in Los Angeles, there isn't a Dairy Queen within like 50 miles of here. But where my dad was in South Bend and back in the Midwest, he was able to get a hold of one. I haven't heard the review yet, but I can't imagine it's anything less than
that
stellar.
does sound like it would be really, really good. All right, premium beef, Vega Ioane. Look, I know, and I've struggled with this because personally, Mike, I'm going to say, hey, man, I think Ruben Bain might be a game changer, right? And I think there's a chance that you might have wanted to have Ruben Bain. But when I say that, I can't knock anything about Vega Ioane. Like, I want to go through the motions of like, hey, can you take a guard at 14? I want to do all that. But there is no negative to me. I keep watching this dude's film and finding myself saying, I don't see any holes at all in his game. He looks as plug-and-play to me as any offensive lineman maybe I have ever seen making the jump from college to the NFL.
Yeah, for me, he was the most plug-and-play I thought of this draft class because, you know, the tackles that we've talked about in this draft class, right? Somewhat of a mixed bag, a group where some of these guys are going to start off at tackle, but there's talk of maybe they can make the move to guard. And with that comes certain things in the transition. This guy is going to play the exact same position that we watched him dominate in at Penn State. He's going to do it at a spot that was a big need for Baltimore going into this draft. And so I understand guard's not the sexiest sell. And Ruben Bain, for all of the conversation around his arm length, is an absolute monster and the kind of tone setter and intimidator that we saw on draft day, right? Him walking right past the booth where everyone else was stopping and smiling and playing to the camera, all business. I get how everyone's going to look at that in the production in college and say, why wouldn't you want that? But guard is one of those, hey, you got to eat your vegetables picks. And I think for Baltimore, who always does a really good job of drafting the pedigree, finding these guys and just letting them fall to them, I think they got the most pro-ready offensive lineman in this draft class at a spot they desperately need help with. Linderbaum gone this year at center, and a guy that I truly think like you're going to look up in a decade. And listen, I don't know if he's the ceiling that, you know, a guy like Quentin Nelson, who's one of the consensus names everyone brings up when you talk about picking a guy really high at guard in the draft, but I think he is gifted enough and lethally consistent enough to where he's going to be around here for a long time helping the Ravens.
Is there anything at all that as you watched him that like you've seen and said, all right, well, you know, he's got to do this a little bit. Is there any hole whatsoever or concern to you about him making the jump?
The only thing that I said, because again, the conversation about, you know, positional value and taking a guard high in the draft, and again, the comparison everyone wants to throw out is Quentin is he's not the athlete that Quentin is. He's a very good athlete, but I wouldn't say he's the highest end guy playing guard at that position. But it doesn't stop him from being effective in a few different schematics, styles that they ran while he was at Penn State, an offense that threw a lot at you. So maybe high-end athleticism would be the one thing that you say, all right, maybe he's not elite there, but he's more than good enough at the position of guard to go out there and get it done. So, no, I think he is a really even-keeled, consistent pass protector. That was probably the part of my game that impressed me the most. Guys just didn't get around him. He had great feet. His hands got locked in there. In the run game, he was able to move guys off the spot. He was able to execute a variety of different schemes. And so that's me really nitpicking a guy that was, every year you have guys that you think will project the best or guys that have different things. And then you have guys that you just flat out enjoy watching. And Vega Ioane was the tape that I most enjoyed getting to watch this year of the offensive line class.
He is Mike Golic Jr. He's with us here on GCR. Mike, are you at all surprised that they didn't prioritize center after, putting such a significant premium on left guard? Like, there's no knock for me about Ioane. I think it's great. But now they're sitting here, and the center position, their options are Corey Bullock, who's never played, a recent undrafted free agent, Danny Pinter, who started 3 career games, and another undrafted free agent in Nick Dawkins, who, I guess did line up next to Vega Ioane at Penn State, so he's got that going for him. Like, that part, I just can't wrap my mind around. I guess something could change. Someone could be released, but it is weird to be sitting here in late April, going into early May, and that's what your center options look like for a team that clearly knew they had to upgrade their offensive line this offseason.
Yeah, no doubt. It's a massive downgrade when you lose arguably the best center in the league in Linderbaum, and then that's the replacement. The only thing I can say is, center is a position that you can protect a bit more. The same is true for guard to an extent, but on center, you get it on both sides. You're so far removed from some of these monsters on the perimeter, but it's the player that also works in concert with your quarterback the most. And having a guy like Linderbaum who was so familiar with what they did, now, we know the offense is going to change this year. You've got a new voice in that room and all these different things that are going to take a little time for everyone, where maybe you mitigate some of the benefit of that experience and that continuity, but there's no doubt that's a concern. Your hope is that a guy like Vega Ioane, along with who you've got in the tackle room, can come in and at least insulate whoever is getting brought along there at center. But there is no doubt that's going to be a spot that people look at as a concern, but you at least have other help on the interior now with a guy who was, I think, better than anyone we were talking about with the center prospects in this draft. So sometimes you're at the mercy of how it breaks, and at that position this year, it was how it broke for the Ravens.
How confident are you that, like, given the fact that they did address the offensive line, that they bring in a new offensive coordinator, like, how confident are you that, like, what happened last year, we're going to look back and say what an anomaly that was, it was the end of the road for the John Harbaugh era, that the Ravens are going to be just fine offensively moving forward with Declan Doyle in charge and Lamar Jackson back? Or do they kind of still have to prove that as the season gets underway?
I think there's going to be some prove-it. Like, I had, a lot of respect for Todd Monken and the job that he did and just the kind of offense that he's run for a while. And, what that meant for Lamar Jackson and his development post Greg Roman, and the way that expanded the playbook for Lamar, who already had an MVP under his belt, but to add another and to do the things that they did, I do think that. Now, the thing that gives me hope and belief that, all right, I'm still willing to bet pretty hard that they're going to figure it out, is just how banged up Lamar Jackson was for so much of last year. The interesting crossroads that we're at with him, though, is, what is his involvement in the run game, both as a scrambler and in the design stuff at this stage in his career? That tension last year that was somewhat explained away by the bumps and bruises, but also just seemed to be something he was less inclined to do, I think is a big factor. And one of those things that they'll figure out early as an offense what their plan is, but for all of us on the outside, seeing what that's going to look like, I think we'll do a lot to determine that.
Are the Steelers as much of a mess as we all think they are? Like, are they crazy? Or are they crazy like a fox when it comes to, like, everything they've got going on with Aaron Rodgers, this bizarre tag that they use that I've never heard of before, and I've covered this league for a long time. Drafting Drew Aller in the third, like, is this still, hey, this is the Steelers we're talking about, and like they always come out smelling like roses? Or at some point do we really have to step back and say, like, is there, the NFLPA grades are apparently awful for the Steelers this year. Like, is there something going on with that organization that, like, it's not what we're used to? obviously here in Baltimore, we're used to them being a thorn in the side and one of the most respected organizations in football.
Yeah, it's a strange time of transition. Anytime you're a Steelers team changing head coach, you know it's uncertain times. We know it's something that doesn't happen around there often. Mike Tomlin was the standard. That's the standard around there. And, I think a lot of this is derived from the Aaron Rodgers of it all. Like, there's a real scorpion in the frog feel to this where, oh, no way, Aaron Rodgers said one thing and is now doing another when it comes to the timeline for his offseason.
Right.
We can't pretend to be surprised by that anymore. I think ultimately, though, this could still work out for the Steelers. Like, you look around the rest of the roster, the foundation's there. We know some of the veteran pieces on defense are getting a little long in the tooth, but offensively, they've built up an offensive line that's looking better and better as the years go along. We know about the tight end room there, albeit now, that's not going to be the Arthur Smith experience anymore where that's the full-blown kink. But I think with this team, the bet is right now, all right, either Aaron Rodgers is going to come back and we'll try this one more time and Mike McCarthy and the familiarity, or, like you said, you're looking and it's Drew Aller, Will Howard on the roster, which, yes, I hear till I'm blue in the face how much they like him. But realistically, if Aaron Rodgers doesn't come back, maybe that's the gift the Steelers need.
They just need to suck
finally
for a
have
year.
A little bit more of a down year,
Yeah, no, actually, it's something a lot of us have talked about for a long time, Mike, that, like, they just might need a 4-win season to reset and go find a quarterback.
Exactly.
Like that playing to be 10-7 and to lose in the first round of the playoffs is just really a bizarre thing that maybe they would be better off going that route. Are you at all interested? I don't think that it matters one bit that Diego Pavia is a mini camp invite for the Baltimore Ravens. Are you at all interested in that just because of him and that it's the Ravens that are doing it, which is not normally the type of thing the Ravens do? Does that interest you even remotely that they're bringing him in to take a look at him?
Yeah, absolutely. I think lost in the Diego Pavia conversation, and Joel Anderson over at The Ringer said this the other day, like, Diego Pavia is a rose that bloomed through like 8 layers of concrete.
Yeah.
It's just not a story that should ever happen. And so, listen, do I think he's going to make or impact a team at the NFL level? No, I think the measurables are finally going to catch up to him in a way that he was able to stave off in college remarkably. But, he's still one of those guys, like, he's going to go to rookie minicamp. And as someone that's a 3-time veteran of rookie minicamp, he's going to slaughter those guys. He is going to make it look like a joke because you're basically out there playing college football on no pads. Like, even I went through rookie minicamp, and I was like, oh, maybe I could play in the NFL, and then found out in real training camp that wasn't going to happen. But that guy's a high-level football player who, if he was 3 inches taller, the attitude wouldn't be deferring a lot of people. It wouldn't be deterring a lot of people, I should say. So I'm very interested because, again, I think we're going to get some fun coming out of these mini camps in the summer because he's going to be able to make that look good because the guy can play ball, and all of the bravado and the stuff that's rubbed people wrong is kind of the same thing that's made him able to do what he did, which is have a career that's worthy of a statue in Nashville for what he did for that program.
No, that's the part that gets lost in all this is like, my God, man, like this is Vanderbilt football that we're talking about. It is really not that far removed from like the conversations we've been having about what Kurt Cignetti did at Indiana. I get it. Like, it's not that, but
yes, absolutely. No, but it's close.
Yeah.
Like him and Clark Lee are the 2 most important players in the history of Vanderbilt football.
Yeah.
Clark, because he eventually came back and coached it, and Diego, because he came over and, him and Jerry Kill helped along with Clark to take that program to a place that no one in their right minds ever thought they would be.
I want to present this to you because you're so good at handling these things, and you've been a talk show host, and so you know what I'm doing. I have no interest in talking to you about Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel. I'm not presenting that, all right? I want to know, because there's Twitter is talking today about Spotify playlists. Do you have a story of, like, attempting to use a song in relation to a relationship or an interaction with a woman in your life that maybe went spectacularly wrong? Do you have any embarrassing, like, I made a mixtape and then she threw it out the window or never listened to it or anything along those lines types of stories?
I wish. Like, I'm very lucky in that I, waited a little longer to get it done, and my fiance works in music, so she handles all of that.
Well,
like,
all right.
If anyone was going to make the mixtape, it was going to be her because she is much more in tune with all that. She always introduces me to that. So, no, I had nothing that ever went south because while I grew up, and I think, seeing the Spotify playlist stuff is cute, but I came up in an era, I'm going on 37 years old, where you were burning CDs
100%. And putting effort.
In middles?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. You had to figure out what you were going to title it. You had to figure out what songs you were going to put on there. Like, the middle school art of trying to put together a burned CD for someone is a level of effort and romance that I think this whole new generation will never have to understand, and it's a darn shame because you really had to roll up your sleeves.
Right, and which illegal website were you getting the song from, and was it the actual song that you thought it was?
Your parents' computer forever with LimeWire or Napster
exactly
or
right,
like
Kazaa, yeah, all of those. Yeah,
God,
oh, dude, I don't want to talk about that. I might have I put together, like, for a girl that I was dating, I put together a burned CD of all of my favorite Beatles songs, like my 12, and I put so much effort into it and like was so proud of it and gave it to her, and she told me about how, like, I can't wait. I was never into the Beatles, so I can't wait to hear, and legitimately never listened to it once. Like, I referenced it later, like 2 days later, and she, like, kind of half lied, and I could tell she was lying about it, and it was over. Like, it was just over. As bad as that one was, maybe not as bad as when I was able to bring a girl backstage to meet Darius Rucker one night because he used to call into the radio show a lot, and then she broke up with me that night. Night, and that is a straight shoot. I introduced her. I pulled that card, introduced her to Darius Rucker, and she broke up with me 4 hours later. That is a straight shoot.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it sounds like the inspiration for a phenomenal Darius Rucker song.
That's a good point, actually. You're not wrong.
About that
You're not right.
And see what he does.
What am I plugging for you now, Mike? What's going on?
If people want to check out the Echoes, Notre Dame football podcast, Notre Dame sports podcast, really, but obviously we play the hits, and been a big week, spring game, the NFL draft, Jeremiah Lovett, 3rd overall to the Cardinals. So wherever you get your podcast, check that out. And wait a little while. TNT Sports should be back home, Big 12 games for them again this fall, which was a ton of fun last year. Got acquainted with some guys that got their name called this last weekend. Looking forward to it.
What about, do you guys know if you're doing Westwood 1 again this year? Because that was a lot of fun, too.
Yes, should be back there as well. So Monday nights, pre and halftime radio for Westwood 1, wherever you listen to that. It was awesome. No, definitely. I mean, got to go to the Super Bowl and do a pregame radio show with my dad.
Yeah, that doesn't suck. That doesn't suck. That's very cool. I guess I didn't even ask. Like, the Ravens didn't even draft anybody from the Big 12, so I can't even ask you about those guys other than we talked, obviously, about Ioane, so that's good. Mike, you're the best. Always appreciate you. Let's do it again soon, all right? Thanks for hopping on.
Absolutely. Thanks, Glenn.
Thanks,
Have a good
buddy.
one.
Mike Golic Jr. with us here on GCR. Appreciate him doing that. Isn't that weird? The Ravens didn't draft anybody out of the – like, I was doing it in my brain.
I know. I was like,
right? Like,
is there a guy that transferred that we thought?
I mean, I guess that's possible if we really –
Hibner was at – he was Michigan State. And
yeah. I
was thinking Zion Young because of Mizzou, but Mizzou's
no,
SEC.
They're in the SEC, yeah. They didn't draft anybody out of the Big 12. And I get it. The Big 12 doesn't have Texas and Oklahoma anymore.
Yeah,
and
Big
so,
12
like,
sucks. That's the
but, like, still, not one guy out of the Big 12?
Yeah, like
that
the punter
is
not
wild,
by accident,
Jack.
right?
Yeah, right. That is really wild that that's the way it works. Maybe they just hate the Big 12. Maybe that's what it is. We didn't really talk about the Aaron Rodgers thing. I have no clue what to make of it, and it seems like
the tender thing.
It's the right of first refusal tender that they put on him, which I legitimately.
Which means nobody else can sign him.
It's more complicated.
Which is like, oh darn.
Right. It's so much more complicated than that.
Gosh,
Hang
what
on
are we gonna do now?
Right of first refusal tender. I was talking about it. I did Chad Duke's show today, and I was like, I've never heard of this thing. I don't know what it means. I have no idea. Apparently, it's a
seldom used U.S.
a 1-year contract offer to a restricted free agent that grants the original team the right to match any offer sheet the player signs with another team. If the original team matches, the player stays. If not, they leave.
So it's tag? Like
that's what it essentially functions as, is a tag. It's so bizarre. Like everybody, yes. Go ahead. You can put that up from Adam Schefter.
There wasn't much information in this tweet. I was just gonna use it as like a graphic, essentially.
Okay, well I can't see it anyway to even read it. So,
hold on.
all Sources: the Steelers placed the rare UFA tender on Aaron Rodgers, meaning that he can accept a 10% raise off last year's salary, which would pay him about $15 million this season. As another condition of the tender, Rodgers would only be able to sign with the Steelers once training camp begins, which is also how does this exist? Who does this benefit?
So he could. So if the Cardinals don't have a quarterback, right? Like, so if the Cardinals,
they got Carson Beck, dog.
If the Cardinals sign or went to Aaron Rodgers and tried to sign him for $20 million, the Steelers could match that, and then sign him today, and if nobody signs him, then he doesn't have to report until July 30th.
It suggests that he would own, no matter what, he can't sign with the Steelers until training camp starts. And again, that might not matter to them because it might very well be that they had already talked to him, and he was like, "Dude, I'm not doing any of that off-season bullshit. Like, I'll see you in training camp."
It's pretty good, Aaron Rodgers.
They were like, "All right, all good," which is weird because again, if Lamar Jackson doesn't show up to play patty cake, then he's the worst quarterback in the world. I have no idea what any of this means.
Is this what you already read, or no? This is different.
No. UFA Aaron Rodgers moved to the UFA tender from his prior club and remains eligible to sign with any club. The Steelers will receive exclusive negotiating rights for Rodgers if he does not sign by July 22nd or the first scheduled day of the 2026 NFL training camp, whichever is later. If Rodgers signs with a new club before that date, he would be a potential compensatory free agent lost by the Steelers. So it does, I guess, protect them. It protects them if he were to sign elsewhere.
Okay, I guess it makes sense. Yeah,
like, I don't know that it makes sense.
But yeah, he's not signing anywhere else. I mean, I guess he could.
Yeah, it's possible that whatever another
everyone
team,
in the Packers quarterback room, dies, right? Like,
or just one of the Jets called back and said, "Hey, I know this didn't really work out all that great."
Well, he's
but
not going back to the Jets. That's why I was like, the Packers maybe like in a extreme situation. Like, he still knows LaFleur, and
I have no idea what to make of any.
I don't think he
this
likes
stuff.
the Jets.
But it's also the Steelers. They're willing to do one of the following things: have a quarterback who's not around at all in the offseason, or have no quarterback. And to Mike Golic Jr.'s point, we've all talked about.
We talked about how strong Drew Aller's arm is.
Yeah, we've all talked about how it just might be for the best for the Steelers to suck for 1 year. Now, does that make sense given the fact they went out and got Michael Pittman?
Or Mike McCarthy? Or
I mean, if they promise Mike McCarthy that he gets to draft the next quarterback, but again, why go get Mike McCarthy? All of this. None of it, you can't put any of it together and make sense, which makes you start to think, like, are they just boobs? Like, is that... Have we given the Pittsburgh Steelers entirely too much credit as an organization because of their history? And the reality is at this point that, like, they just have no idea what they're doing? And then, how the hell did you get swept by that team? We know is complicated. We recognize that. It's just so bizarre, man. What a time to be alive. Like, just everything is so nonsensical that's going on with that organization. But that's where they are. I feel like there's something else. Oh yeah,
Rob Thompson was fired.
Oh yeah, Rob Thompson was fired. So already two.
Or you're talking about football that we missed.
I feel like that might have been something.
Yeah, be a Spotify
else.
playlist. That's the topic du jour.
Dude, that's both those stories are true. I put so much effort into burning this. I dated a girl in high school who was obsessed with the Beatles, and my parents were like, they listened to the oldie station when I was growing up. They listened to Good Time Oldies, WQSR. Like, they listened to Steve Rouse and Rouse and Company, and so like I was into a lot of older. But like for whatever reason, the Beatles, I didn't have the same like personal connection with the Beatles when I was 14, 15 as maybe I did with like Motown, or I think everybody knows the Beach Boys. I love the Beach Boys. And it took me dating a girl named Kristen who was obsessed with the Beatles when I was in high school to really get me into the Beatles and to like maybe get past just like all of their original pop hits and sort of truly learn the greatness of their music. The way that now, like when you hear like the Paul McCartney show that I did with Spiro a couple years ago, like I wept going to see Paul McCartney. Like, wept. I legitimately, my wife, like, hugged me and, like, held me for a second because it was that meaningful to me. But so the next girl that I dated after this girl who was super into the Beatles, I wanted, because now it's like my thing. Now you're also young and you like don't consider the fact that every relationship's going to be different and you're not all going to share the same things. But now like I had this like Beatles exploration. Yeah, I know. What? It's going to be tough, buddy. But you're going to make it through, I promise. You're going to come out on the other side. I had this like personal Beatles exploration. And so now like I needed the people in my life to have the same feelings that I did and to appreciate the same things and understand why I've Got a Feeling might be the greatest song of all time, like the most perfect song ever. And then I get pissed off because like a girl in my life years later was like, what, the Black Eyed Peas? I'm like, I hate you. So I really wanted the next girl that I dated to be as into the Beatles as the last girl that I had dated. Now, I didn't like tell her that was the reason. I didn't say, hey, she was cooler than you. I just was like,
maybe it would have helped,
yeah,
though. I don't know.
really like the Beatles, and I want you to be into the Beatles, too. And she was like, all right, well, yeah. And, like, she seemed so willing to like, share this with me. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go burn you a CD. And, again, back in the day, like, I probably owned all of these CDs. I probably didn't have to download these off of LimeWire because I can't think of a Beatles record that I didn't have. But maybe I didn't have all of them because, again, I was still new to my like Beatles fandom. So I probably started to go download some of these things and using those old, BearShare, Kazaa, LimeWire, Napster, like God knows what kind of like, viruses you were giving your father's computer in the process. But I put so much work into this. Like to me, a mixed CD really was like a love story. Like genuinely, it was a love story that you were telling, which might be the reason why we're reacting the way that we are to the Spotify playlist today. But I put all that effort into it, and I give it to her like at school, I want to say on a Thursday, and like by Monday, I knew, and I even spent some time with her that weekend, and she was like, no, it's at home. I'm going to listen to it tonight. I think she like created a story of like, tonight I'm doing this, and I want to listen to it while I'm doing this. And I was like, that makes sense, instead of it obviously just being bullshit. Like she was obviously just
that probably makes sense. So.
Pushing it off. And like we got to Monday, and she was very dismissive. Like I asked like if she had listened to it, and she was like, oh yeah, and she was like, I really like that first song, which is of course what you say when you're just trying to BS your way through like something that you hadn't listened to. Like, man, that first song was really good, right? Because you don't know how many songs were on the thing. So you can't say the 10th song was really good, because what if there are only 4 songs on there?
Third song's usually a safe bet, though.
Probably a safe bet, but you don't know that, so you always said the first song. So I was like, but was it? Was it? What did you like about it? And you could just tell like she was lying to me now on top of everything else.
Maybe you.
Irreparable. Could not overcome that.
So you just ended it right there on the spot? Or?
But not nearly as bad as the Darius Rucker thing, man. Like the Darius Rucker thing.
Sorry.
Dude. I didn't know Darius Rucker well, but like he actually would call in sometimes. Like this was the thing that he did. Like Darius Rucker would do a bit where he would use fake names and call into radio stations like when he was in town. And he had a daughter that lived here. And I heard about the story, and I was like, do you think he's ever called in to like the show? And we found out that he had like that. Like somebody who called in one day, I was like, this sounds like it might be. And so I legitimately reached out to his record label and like, I just want to pose this. And they were like, yeah, that was him. Like, no, like that's cool, man. Like I was a Hootie and the Blowfish, massive Hootie and the Blowfish fan. The girl that I was dating at the time was a country music fan, and she loved Darius Rucker. And so I just asked them, I was like, hey, is there any, he was playing Pier 6, is there any chance that we could say hello? And they're like, absolutely, he'd love to say hello. Like, he listens every time he's in town, and he's in town all the time because his daughter lives here. I'm like, holy crap. So I'm the cock of the walk. Now I get to tell this girl, like, hey.
Congratulations on
we're
that.
not just going to see Darius Rucker on Friday night.
Wow.
We're hanging out with him backstage.
Really? Yeah.
And I could tell the vibe was a little off. She lived in D.C.
With her or
with her.
With Darius?
No, he was awesome. Like, she lived in D.C. She had a really important job. Like, she covered the White House and stuff. Like, it was way out.
That's her important.
Way
sure.
out. I mean, she wasn't like a daily, like, she wasn't on the beat. but like she had reported from the White House. She worked for a major media company. I'm not going to give any more information out.
CNN.
Not that one. No, shut up now. So, like, she was always way out of my league. I have no idea what she was doing with me. Like, we would go to parties in D.C., and she would, like, introduce me to senators. And I'd just be this dope, like, dressed like I do. I was like a party favorite. They thought it was adorable that I didn't know who Harry Reid was. Like, all of her friends were like, oh, listen, he's so cute, you know. I'm like, baseball. So, we're there. I take her to Darius Rucker. I think we're having the greatest night ever. Like, we go hang out with him. He couldn't be cooler. We're chatting. Like, I swear to God, as soon as we got back to my place, she was like, I think I'm going to drive back to D.C. tonight. I'm like, the hell? Just took you to Darius. We just hung out with Darius Rucker, man.
She was like, Darius Rucker actually kind of sucked.
Yeah, right? Like, what the F is going on? And she straight up called me on her drive back and broke up with me. I was like, wow. I just got you backstage with Darius Rucker. That was a blow.
Better or worse than the way Bisciotti fired Harbaugh? Essentially the same, I guess, almost.
I gotta think about that, right? Like, I stand by it. Don't like imagine
it's
if
not
if she had made me drive to DC to break up for her to break up with me, I would have been livid a bit. Like, it probably is better that she drove to Baltimore. But like, she still I could have invited another gal. Like, that's the part that bothers me. The part that bothers me is like, I could have used that as ammunition for going fishing. You know what I mean? Like, I could have said, hey, little Missy, you're a Darius Rucker fan? Well, do you want to go? I could have used that to my advantage if she was just going to break up with me. Instead, now I associate. Now I kind of have negative feelings towards Darius Rucker because when I think about him,
does he know the story?
I don't think I ever talked to him about it. I've only talked to him a couple times since then. I don't think I ever went out of my way.
You guys text all the time.
No, we are not. It is not like that. I do not want to portray. I hate it when I bring stories like this up because then people genuinely think, like, hey, man, could you get me like a... No, I can't. I can't get you anything at all.
Yeah, but
we're not that close.
I can meet Darius Rucker, right?
I mean, maybe. I'm guessing the same people don't work for him that set the whole thing up. It's been a long time. I've been with Mrs. Clark for a very... This is before I was married. So I got to think about what year this would have been.
This wasn't Mrs. Clark.
This was not Mrs. Clark. Actually, that was what... I broke up with this girl and got back together with Mrs. Clark.
Oh.
Like, Mrs. Clark and I had dated,
so
broken
it was
up.
For the best, right?
Yeah, and in the end, yes, it worked out 100%. But still, it's just the staggering way that it occurred. We'll get to the most important sports news of the day. A huge win for Team Norfolk last night.
Sure.
We'll discuss that and get a tidbit and two to wrap it up. It's Glenn Clark Radio.
This is Stan the Fan. You know we talk all the time about our O's stepping up in the big moments, delivering when it matters most. If you've been injured in a car accident anywhere around Baltimore, that's your big moment, and you need someone who delivers. That's why I'm here to tell you about Warnken Injury Lawyers. They fight for Baltimore families every single day. Insurance companies play games. Warnken plays to win. So call 443-RESULTS. That's 443-RESULTS, or go to warnkenlaw.com. When you need results, it's right there in the number, 443-RESULTS.
Your car is more than just a ride. It's an investment. At Leading Edge Auto Body in Mount Washington, we've spent over 20 years perfecting the art of repair. From high-end imports to your trusted daily driver, we handle all makes and models with elite precision. Our team holds the highest honors in the industry, including ASE Master, iCar Platinum, and specialized aluminum certifications. We make it easy with free towing, pickup, and delivery, because at Leading Edge, customer satisfaction comes first. And remember, with insurance, it's your car and it's your choice. Choose the experts. Leading Edge Auto Body. Quality you can see. Service you can trust. Go to leadingedautobody.com today.
The weather's getting cooler, so when you and your family are picking out a place to dine, be it lunch or dinner, let's make it nice and easy. Now, with 2 great locations, the Costas Inn remains your #1 destination. Whether you want to get steamed crabs and the full Costas menu out at the original location at 4100 North Point Boulevard, or sample the complete menu minus the steamed crabs at the new location above the grandstand at the Timonium Racetrack, Costas is your place to go. Check out the website, CostasInn.com, for a look at the menu, and if you want to plan that crab feast, call 410-477-1975. The Costas Inn.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
The latest edition of Press Box is available now. On the cover, Bill Ordine dives in on how different Preakness will be temporarily at Laurel Park and then long-term once it returns to Pimlico. Also inside, Luke Jackson learns more about what Trey Hendrickson will bring to the Ravens. And Karuga Koinange looks at how Samuel Basayo is influencing the Orioles' international signing efforts. Press Box is available for free at over 250 locations throughout the region, including your Baltimore area High's Dairy stores. Plus, you can read the entire issue online at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
All right, back in here on GCR. So Don Mattingly's going to be the Phillies manager now?
Yeah.
With Rob Thompson fired?
So it's going to be the first, it was going to be a tidbit. Phillies now have the first father-son GM manager duo.
That's also an awkward.
Yeah, it is. It's weird. So
like,
Preston Mattingly.
I don't know how that's okay. Like, my gut would tell me that shouldn't be okay. I don't know. That's really weird. That said,
I agree
like
too.
I do like Don Mattingly's experience as a manager. Like, if you're trying to use a managerial firing to actually fix the season, then I think bringing in an experienced.
The Red Sox were trying to fix the season.
I think bringing in an experienced manager, someone who's been there before, is the way to go. The idea that like you're,
So does Rob Thompson end up in Boston, or
just say, well, if it didn't work,
just trade. Maybe if they just Alex Cora ends up. I mean, I guess
very weird.
Not gonna
Somebody said Alex Cora interviewed for the Phillies job before they hired Rob Thompson.
Yeah, I saw that. I think.
Yeah, Nightingale said that.
He did. Okay. Yeah.
Bold. I mean, maybe we'll be seeing more of this. It's wild. It didn't necessarily work out for the Orioles a year ago.
This is equivalent to what? Like firing your head coach in football, like
it would be
2 or 3.
Yeah, I mean, correct. Yeah, like after week 2. I mean, really, it'd be like halftime of week 3. It would be firing him, and then I mean, that is wild, man. That is wild. All right. So we didn't talk at all about the God, what's his name? The Texas Tech quarterback.
Sorsby.
Yeah, Brendan Sorsby. Thank you.
Sorsby.
We talk about it a lot on Reed and Glenn this week. I say this every time. Spare me the internet memes. Spare me and this betting scandal brought to you by FanDuel. Like it's just boring. There are topics that I think are interesting. Like what does the NCAA do here? I don't think he can ever play college football again. What does the NFL do here? There was talk yesterday, like maybe if he does lose his final year of eligibility, he enters the supplemental draft. But what does the NFL do? How do you handle this? Do you just say, well, it happened before us, so, one time get out of jail free card? And not that we think that, like, Sorsby's going to be a great NFL quarterback or have a long career, but the NFL is trying to say, dude, you bet on football, you're not going to be a part of this. You're out. It is weird to me. I did not know that the NCAA had reversed the rule last year so that you can't bet on anything. I thought in the NCAA you were allowed to bet on anything besides your own sport. Like the rule, the way it existed was like you could bet on
like MLB games.
Yes.
but they changed it so you can't bet on any professional.
Which he was doing, by the way.
Right, but which to me is not as much. That's really not a problem. I don't care that Brendan Sorsby bet on Major League Baseball games. Apparently, balls and strikes. Like he apparently would go to Reds games and bet on balls and strikes. That doesn't bother me even a little bit. Now, if he's breaking a rule, he's breaking a rule, but I can't be bothered by that. I understand the concept of why you don't want, like the NCAA wants to be more protective because there are more athletes that can be manipulated for fraud. There's less money being made, and so it's easier for you to go to a Quinnipiac lacrosse player and say, can you help us throw this game? And here's what we'll pay you to do it. It's easier for there to be fraud involved with college athletes than it is there to be with pro athletes. So I understand why the NCAA doesn't want their athletes to bet at all, but at the same time, these are adults that we're talking about. I don't think I like the idea that a college athlete wouldn't be allowed to bet on a golf tournament. It was really unique because, like, if you work at a college, like if you work for an NCAA athletic department, you're not allowed to bet either. But the rules were like you can't bet on any sport that the school sponsors. So if your school doesn't have football, right, like if you were at UMBC, you wouldn't get fired if people found out that you were betting on the NFL because you didn't have football. But that's still, it's so weird. Like you can, if UMBC has a golf team, and I don't even know if they do, if UMBC has a golf team, you're not allowed to bet on the Masters? Like, what the hell do the two things have to do with each other? I'm torn about what they do.
They have a club golf team, so how does that?
Yeah, that's a great point. I'm torn about what the NFL does, if anything, because all of these leagues want to come out as stringent as possible when it comes to betting. In the pro leagues, you can bet on whatever you want. If you're a Major League Baseball player, bet on the Masters all you want. Bet on the hot dog eating contest. Bet on Ukrainian ping pong. Do all those things. But you can't bet on baseball. It's that simple. I don't know what the NFL does looking at this because he did bet on the sport he was playing and bet on games the team he was on was playing in. And you can say, well, yeah, but he always bet him to win. There's always this, but what were you willing to do? And if you were a gambling addict, what were you willing to do? Question that has to be asked. It's going to be an interesting spot for the NFL, and it's a very interesting spot for the NCAA. I don't think he can play. I think it's got to be, you've got to make a loud statement. Sorry. I know you're young. I know you're going to talk about how you're impressionable, but you're an adult, and you're responsible for your own actions. And this is the fault of the league because they take money from the... No. It might be something that with the availability of sports betting was always going to happen, like it was inevitable. In the same way, like if you let people drink, then there's going to be drinking and driving. You can say it's inevitable, but that doesn't mean it's the fault of, like, it's not, we don't hold Budweiser accountable for someone that got into a drunk driving accident. Because that person knew I shouldn't drink and drive. Rita made an interesting point yesterday about, like, cigarette advertising and...
So is that what you think it could be? Is that we just get no more commercials for gambling?
It's an interesting... I mean, but they've never gotten rid of alcohol commercials.
Yeah.
Like, we can't, like, weed's legal, but we don't advertise, like, get your kush here. Like, if a head shop wants to advertise, they have to, like, dance around, like, the word, despite the fact that it's legal now. So why why is it that the cigarette companies, the weed companies aren't allowed to advertise, but alcohol and betting are? It's an interesting question that I don't have the answer to. My gut, this is where I'm like a little bit of the libertarian in me comes out. Like, I would say they all should be allowed to. And everyone is responsible for their own actions. That's sort of the way I feel about it. But if the argument is, hey, we got rid of cigarette advertising to try to protect impressionable people, then maybe we should get rid of alcohol and gambling advertising.
Do you need to raise the age for sports gambling? I mean, there's still gonna always be ways around it. Like,
yeah, I don't know, man. I it's tough. It's tough. There's a part of me that says like this is gonna happen, and look, they're supposed to
got to be made an example.
Yes, and it sucks for him. It's a bummer, but you knew, like pretending like he didn't know. The first time that he showed up as a college athlete, 3 different people within the athletic department, I think Indiana was where he was, said to him, "You may not bet on sports." Period. And I feel addiction is real, and if you or a loved one is struggling with it, 1-800-GAMBLER, helpmygamblingproblem.org. I want to be sympathetic towards that. But in the same way, saying that you're an alcoholic doesn't absolve you of the things that you did when you were drunk. Like, there are consequences for your actions. I am very fascinated by how this gets handled. But just spare me the league does this, and then this is what's going to happen. Spare me. You're accountable for your actions. You are. Not somebody else. It's not ESPN's fault that they ran a commercial. You knew what you were doing, and you chose that you were okay with that, and that it was worth risking your athletic career over. And I just don't feel bad for you. I really don't. Last night, there were a bunch of sports questions, actually, at trivia. Number 1, there are only 2 active MLB players with more than 400 career home runs.
Oh, There are only 2 active.
Actually, there were a lot of sports-adjacent questions last night. It was kind of wild.
400 career home runs for active MLB players.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez. They've been playing for a long time.
We actually lucked into the second. One I had. The second one we lucked into.
I'm going to go Stanton.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's been playing forever, but I don't know if he hits home runs, but it's not like he hits a bazillion every year. Like I'm between like Freeman, Harper, Trout even, but I don't think Trout could be there. But he's not a good baseball player anymore.
That's a good pull. That's a good callback.
He is though. He is a good baseball player.
I know this year all of a sudden he's good again, right?
He never wasn't. He just was hurt.
Oh, stop it.
So, dang, this is tough. Who was the other one? So Stanton is one.
Stanton is one. Yeah, that's the one that I got quickly.
And you got the other one?
We did, but I'll explain it after.
I don't think Manny's at 400 yet. I will go. Dang, I feel like you're going to say it, and then I'm going to be like, how did I not think of him? I'm going to go Trout. Trout and Stanton.
The answers are Giancarlo Stanton and Mike Trout.
All right.
Mike Trout.
Knew it.
So we had gone around the table and had the debate, and we had sort of like coalesced around Bryce Harper.
The person, the caller, didn't give any hints. Like,
no,
they're both.
Didn't. Right.
One is still good, one's not good.
Yeah. Didn't do anything like that. We gone around the table, and we coalesced around Harper. And so I was asking, all right, everybody vote, because we were between Harper and Trout. And so everybody said Harper, and then we got to my old roommate, who was like, almost to be a jerk because everybody else had said Harper. He said Trout, and he said it very confidently. And I was like, all right. So I just scratched out Harper, and I put down Trout.
So you almost went with Harper.
Almost went with Harper. Turns out, God bless him, because
Trout,
got it right.
Home runs.
What brand name
good player, huh?
What brand name of powdered drinks and puddings shares its name with the nickname of tennis star Martina Hingis?
So it's like a little packet that you put in your. Mm-hmm. So what
powdered drinks and puddings? What brand name of powdered drinks and puddings shares its name with the nickname of tennis star Martina Hingis?
So you must have got this easy.
Easy.
What is her nick? I don't know what her nickname is. Her nickname would be her nickname's not Gatorade, is it?
Sure not.
Is it Mio?
Does Gatorade make pudding?
I don't know.
Did I miss that?
Mio doesn't make pudding.
I don't think so.
I don't know who makes pudding. I can.
You would think that if they make pudding, they might make a different type of powdered drink. Maybe not an energy drink, but
like a chocolate milk or
like
something.
A chocolate, a hot chocolate, perhaps.
Swiss Miss.
Swiss Miss.
Swiss Miss. It is.
Swiss Miss, of course, is her nickname. This was a great round. We did not get all 5. It was match the fictional high school with the sports movie they were in. So see if you would know any of these.
Match the fictional high school with
the sports movie they were in.
Okay.
Number 1 is Ampipe High School.
Ampipe?
Ampipe. A-M-P-I-P-E.
So AHS?
Yeah, I guess. Number 2, West Canaan High School.
How do you spell it?
C-A-N-A-A-N. West Canaan High School. Number 3, Hickory High School.
Okay, Hoosiers.
It's the one I got immediately. Number 4, Richmond High School. Oh, I actually have names of the teams. Damn it, I didn't even realize this. Ampipe is the Bulldogs.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll store that one.
Yeah, right. West Canaan is the Coyotes. Hickory, of course, was the Huskers. Richmond is the Oilers. And Permian High School, which is the Panthers.
Yeah.
And that is
Friday Night Lights.
All right, so those are the 2 that I had immediately. Nailed those. So A was Varsity Blues. B was Hoosiers. C, Friday Night Lights. D, Coach Carter. And E, All the Right Moves. So you got 2 of them, and I'll tell you they were both correct. 3 is B, and indeed 5 is C.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not. I mean, you're going to be throwing darts at a board here. So let's go the Coyotes. That sounds like all the no, that sounds like Varsity Blues. We'll go West Canaan Varsity Blues.
West Canaan is indeed Varsity Blues. And my movie guy thankfully knew that immediately.
Ampipe, Coach Carter, or All the Right Moves, Richmond. Okay, so Richmond and Ampipe. I'll go, because they both start with A, we'll go Ampipe and All the Right Moves.
Ampipe is indeed All the Right Moves. Your math
5
is
for 5.
unbelievable.
Coach Carter, Richmond Oilers.
Richmond was Coach Carter. Look at you. We got those 2 flip-flopped. My movie guy let me down in that moment. Really let me down. Got those 2 flip-flopped. Still more. Who has been the host for the following game shows? Number 1.
Aaron Rodgers, Jeopardy.
Number 1, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader from 2007 to 2015?
So that was that Foxworthy?
That was Foxworthy,
okay.
Yep. Number 2, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader in 2019?
Just 1 year?
Just 1 year, apparently. We did not get this.
It's like someone well-known. Tom Bergeron.
Someone very well-known.
Yeah, Tom I don't know.
Even more well-known, believe it or not, than Tom Bergeron. I know that's hard to believe. Star of stars, Tom Bergeron.
Wasn't Trebek, was it?
It wasn't Trebek. Not someone known for being a game show host.
Okay, so...
Although I believe he did host another game
Tracy
show.
Tracy Morgan. I don't know.
John Cena.
Oh.
John Cena was the
For 1
host.
year, for one season?
The pandemic hit, so it might have been that they were planning on doing it more, but the pandemic might have ruined that. And then finally, Are You Smarter Than a Celebrity from 2024 to now?
This is a current show on the Game Show Network?
I don't know where it is. I couldn't tell you where it airs. I just know it's a...
I'm going to say maybe it's hosted by Drew Barrymore.
It's hosted by an athlete.
Oh.
We wrote down J.J. Watt.
Strahan. He likes doing stuff.
It's not J.J. Watt. We also, by the way, we had no guess on the second one. We wrote down both J.J. Watt and Peyton Manning as 2 of our guesses. Got them both wrong. But it turns out we had the right idea. We were all over the idea of it being a football brother.
Okay, so that means
We just picked the wrong football brother.
it is. Wait, what other football brother? Devin McCourty.
No.
Jason McCourty.
Much more famous football brother.
Much more famous. Football
Dramatically
brother.
more famous football
you
brother.
go Manning, Watt, more famous, not as famous as them, or
I would say as famous, if not arguably more famous.
it's not one of the Watts
It's
or Mannings.
not one of no. It's not a Watt or a Manning.
What is a more famous brother than the Mannings?
Oh, come on, man. Come on.
Well, I mean, how can you get more famous than
Come
the
on,
Mannings?
dog.
Or the Watts, really?
Getting dramatically more famous than the Watts. Maybe you could argue the Mannings, but it's tough because one of them's marrying someone really significant.
Oh, the Kelseys. So Jason
Jeez,
Kelsey's
it's like
hosting.
Travis Kelce apparently is the host of this show.
Did you get the John Cena one right?
No,
Okay.
no, we only got Jeff Foxworthy. We went.
What did you guess
three.
for the John Cena one?
That was where I guessed. We did. You don't have to.
Oh,
like,
you guessed
can
athletes for both. Okay. I
Yes,
see.
yes, correct. And then this finally, when he passed away in 2015, which athletes, quote, always go to other people's funerals, otherwise they won't go to yours, regain prominence?
When did Yogi Berra die? That sounds like something he would say, but did he die? Did he live until 2015? Yogi Berra.
It's the exact same conversation we had. I said, it has to be Yogi Berra, but I don't feel like he was alive in 2015. But it had to be Yogi Berra.
Okay.
There was no way it was anyone else.
If it wasn't him,
It was definitely Yogi
It was,
Berra.
okay,
We wrote
all
down
right,
Yogi Berra because there was just no way that it could possibly be anybody
I
else.
was
that
gonna be
had
like,
said
all right,
that.
Ali, because I know he
Yeah,
died
right.
in 2015, right?
Oh, how about that? I thought he died before
Was
that.
it 14? Maybe it was 14.
I thought it was. Maybe you're right. Maybe it was the year my son was born. You might be right about that. Anyway, yes, we got that. All right, very good. That was an adventure. Now, how about a tidbit?
That was a busy, and you guys won.
And we did. We stole it at the end. We were down.
He died in 2016.
Who?
Ali.
Oh, okay. We were down going into the final, but the question was, of the top 7 ranked universities in the world, 6 of them are either in the United States or the UK, and what country will you find the other one? And don't ask me why I knew this, but
Why'd you know this?
I don't know. But I said,
So it's okay. So it's U.S. or United Kingdom. It's not
Yeah.
there. Is it a European country? I don't get this. You don't get to tell me.
No.
I'll go Germany.
it's certainly a European country. It's a different European country, actually.
France.
No.
Greece.
Nope.
Switzerland?
Yeah! Think about one of the global economic hubs of the world, obviously, and that's what I said. I'm like, I don't know the name of the school, but I know it's in Zurich. And I said that, like, at the table. I'm like, it's in Zurich. Turns out it's called, like, ETH Zurich. And so I wasn't so confident that we could, like, go all in, but we wagered just enough that we would have jumped. If the team in front of us didn't get it right, we would jump them. And it turns out they did not get it right. We jumped them, and we were winners.
Jeez,
So
you
big
feel
night.
Good about yourselves,
Big
huh?
night.
Yeah.
Big night. John Proctor didn't show up. We won
Wow.
without him.
Wow, don't need him.
Starting to question
Could have used
whether
me,
or not.
I guess. And
Could have? Yeah, they might have.
because I obviously know
got
all
the
right
movies
moves
one.
and
Yeah, 100%.
Coach Carter. I
Definitely
know
have
this.
watched those films. All right, tidbit brought to you by the Stan the Fan Variety Hour. Stan, Ross Grimsley, and Luke Jackson talking baseball with you every Monday. If you missed it yesterday, you can find it right now. Facebook.com/PressBoxSports, YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline, or PressBoxOnline.com/video. As always, Stan's shows are brought to you by the Costas Inn, with 2 great locations in Dundalk and Timonium, as well as Warnkin Law.
Munetaka Murakami homered you once again last night.
What a star that guy is.
Yeah, 12
12,
home
yeah.
runs for Murakami. Only 2 so 12 home runs through his first 29 career games. Only 2 players in Major League Baseball history
I can't believe there are 2.
hit more home runs in their first 12 career games. Or sorry, 29 career games.
Alex Rodriguez.
No.
Aaron Judge.
No.
Kyle Schwarber.
No.
I don't know.
Kind of like, I mean, those are good guesses, but they're kind of, I guess they're kind of random. So it's
Oh, good.
yeah.
Good.
But I mean, I feel like they're both within the past decade, so I feel like they're somewhat memorable. Like you could just remember.
They're both within the past decade.
Yes.
How about Soto?
No.
How about no? In the past decade, Acuna.
No, not Acuna.
Tatis.
Not Tatis.
F off, guy.
Relax. On pace for 67 home runs. That's crazy.
How about I really don't know, man. You're gonna have to help
All
me.
right,
Get there.
2017, and they were both National League players.
2017.
One was 2017, one was 2018.
2017. One was 2018. They were both National League players. Didn't help me at all.
Not
Thanks.
in the NL West.
Not in the NL West. And it wasn't Soto because I already guessed him, and you told me it wasn't Soto. But
No.
I'm really struggling to come up. Pete Alonso.
No, not Pete Alonso.
All right, why don't we try again?
Okay.
Ellie De La Cruz.
No, but he is a red. One of them was a red.
One was a red. That requires me to know someone else who was a red.
He came up and he was hitting home runs. It felt like every at bat. It was insane when he came up. And he is no longer in baseball now. He is now a Guerrero de Oaxaca.
Oh, sure.
In the Mexican League.
I bet I'm going to get this.
Before that, he was a Diablo Rojo.
Oh, if you said he was a Diablo Rojo, a Red Devil, of course.
Prior to that, a Trinichi Dragon.
I don't know.
Prior to that, Cincinnati Red.
He was a Cincinnati Red in what year? In 2018?
From 2018 to 2022, he was a Cincinnati
I don't
Red.
even know if I looked at the Cincinnati Reds roster from 2018 that I...
You probably should have been playing fantasy baseball, is my guess.
This is part of the problem
you
here.
known.
Who else was on the Reds in 20? Hang on a second.
I guess I got to give it to you because he is. If you don't.
It's not Joey Votto.
His first and last name both same letter. A.
Something.
Which I feel like just kind of added to his draw.
It's an Alex.
No,
it's an Anthony.
No, it's a Dominican name. And probably hard to pronounce for you at least.
Go ahead.
Not for me.
I don't.
Aristides Aquino. The guy that came up with the Reds
that
and
really does not even
2018
ring a bell for me after you said it.
Destroying baseballs.
That really does not
Great American.
ring a bell for me at all.
Reds had nothing going for him, but they called this guy up and he hit a ton of home runs.
Okay,
yeah.
I believe you, but
and that happened the year prior. Philadelphia Philly.
This is going so well. God,
he is still in baseball.
He's still in baseball.
Well, I guess Aquino still is too, but yeah, he's still in Major League Baseball.
Is he still with the Phillies?
No. He was with the Phillies also until 2022. Then he was a Brewer, and he is.
Oh, Rhys Hoskins.
Yes,
Rhys Hoskins.
Presently,
son of a bitch.
and what team is he currently on?
We saw him.
Yeah, we did.
Cleveland.
Yes,
Cleveland.
he is
Cleveland.
Cleveland Guardian.
Woo! That was something. That
was a good
something.
one. All right, I had another one just in case, but I guess we'll call it there.
That was brutal. How do we get tubular?
Yeah.
Or not. We don't have to.
Have you ever thought of taking a cruise to these wonderful destinations with sunny skies and beautiful beaches? Well, wait no longer. We're ready for you to cruise from the Cruise Maryland Terminal.
Have a little phrase that you can go from baggage to margarita in about 15 minutes.
Choose fun with an array of destinations, onboard activities, entertainment, and world-class cuisine.
Contact your travel agent and book your cruise today. Let your adventure begin.
I've been awake for like 11 hours. I'm exhausted. These are tough days, man. All right, here's what's coming up totally tubular-wise. The
You're
Orioles.
mostly good.
What's that?
You're mostly good.
I don't know.
Yeah, mostly.
I don't know. The Orioles open up a series with the Astros this evening in Baltimore. Weather.
It stopped raining, so
Okay, all right. We're good.
I can play right now.
All is good. No, that's all that matters. Shane Baz on the mound for the Birds against, is it K-Wee or K-Y? Tang.
I don't know.
You're supposed to be the baseball guy here. What happened?
I know, but I don't know. I've never heard this.
6:35 tonight on Masson for that. The Astros have stunk.
Tang, I think. I mean, it's Tang.
Is Tang not Tang?
Yeah. Well, is there a difference?
Tang. No.
Tang.
Tang.
You're saying this is like the Bengals.
Yeah, it's a Pan situation. Tang.
In Baltimore, he's Tang.
Tang. Yeah. Which one is it?
I don't know.
Oh, good.
It's Kaiway. Kaiwei Tang.
My way or the Kaiwei?
Kaiwei Tang.
Kaiwei Tang.
United Shane Baz way.
Thank you. Shane Baz. That's the pitching matchup. Maryland baseball against Georgetown, 6 o'clock on something called Muscovision. Sure.
Sounds like a superpower.
I'm like, what? NBA tonight, the Celtics and the Spurs both can close out their series. Celtics hosting the Sixers at 7 on ESPN. The Spurs hosting the Blazers at 9:30. Also on ESPN. By the way, the Suns lost and didn't even do the right thing.
They didn't even cover.
Correct.
You cost me a lot of money.
Correct. NBC Hawks Knicks Game 5, pivotal Game 5 this evening at 8 o'clock. In the hockey playoffs, Bruins Sabres Game 5 tonight with the Sabres having a chance to close out that series.
I hate that the Flyers can't close out the Pens. Annoying.
That's at 7:30 on TNT and True TV. Ducks Oilers at 10 o'clock. That's Game 5 on TNT and True TV. The Ducks can close that series out with a win. And on ESPN2, Wild Stars Game 5 tonight at 8. Non-sports.
Maybe a couple potential book clubbers. What do you think The Cult of Nature Boy is about?
The Cult of Nature Boy is about Ric Flair.
It is not. That's what I thought it might be about, too. It's not about Ric Flair.
Why would it not be about Ric Flair?
There apparently, in 2016, there was some social media guy named Nature Boy, and he started a cult, and people started following him, and it was pretty.
I do love a good cult.
Yeah, it was pretty creepy. And I don't know if he killed anyone or not. But it's on Hulu.
Okay.
The Cult of Nature Boy.
All right.
And then also on Paramount, My Killer Father, The Green Hollow Murders.
Oh, Jesus.
Small town. So yeah, a woman. So this woman alleges her father killed dozens of women, including multiple of his wives, and forced her and her siblings to help bury them in wells.
Okay. Wow. Jeez.
Yeah.
Right.
And apparently some of the other children there were like, I don't think
you
that's
heard Caleb
true,
wanted a nice lighthearted one, and you were like, I got one for you.
My Killer Father.
Jesus.
Green Hollow Murders.
Anything else?
No, those
All
two.
right. Very
Those
good.
two.
That's
Oh,
that.
Summer House. We got an episode of that.
Oh, whatever that
On
is.
Bravo.
With West. Oh,
Followed
Westy.
by Vanderpump Rules.
There you go. All right, thanks today to Rod Woodson. Thanks also to Mike Golic Jr. We'll get it up in the greatest hits section of the
Emily Blunt, Chet Hanks on Fallon.
tab at GlennClarkRadio.com, and no would pass. Although
I had a beer.
it is hard for him to take us seriously because he's seen our titties on the internet.
True, yeah.
We got to keep that in mind. Yeah, way to be on top of it.
Not gonna be
Way to be on top of it. Appreciate that.
keep-
Oh yeah,
keep-
yeah. This one's gonna really hit. When we get there, it's gonna hit like crack when we get around to Griffin finding that clip. I'm sure that it's still meaningful as I just trudge along, saying nothing, attempting to pat, but no ability to whatsoever. Oh, good.
Wait.
Dynamite stuff, man. This is why. Definitely better than getting a nap in.
Respectfully, I seen your titties on the internet, so I can't really take you serious.
There you go. Nailed it.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Thank you.
That's why we have all those rehearsals before the show.
Well, I mean, I didn't know
Is to
they were
make
going to be
show.
thrown to. Well, I guess
You were the
I
one
was
that brought up.
I brought Chet Hanks. I don't know what he's plugging.
Let's just keep that in mind. Oh, isn't another season of Running Point?
Oh wait, yeah, you're right. Yeah, that would be it.
I'm pretty sure there.
They brought him back.
I have no idea. I didn't watch the first one.
I thought we did try to watch it.
I did. Did we? I'm pretty sure I said.
Maybe I was thinking of the.
I'm pretty sure I said I would not after that. After seeing that
okay.
trailer.
Maybe it was Kate Hudson.
And then other people I think told me it was good, and I was like,
I think I was thinking
don't
of
believe you.
the Clippers show that they did.
Oh, wait, the Clippers show.
Yeah, about what's his face, Ballmer with Ed O'Neill.
Oh, that show was god awful.
Yeah.
We did watch that one. It was god awful, but we watched that one. It was so wretched. What a terrible show that was. All right, very good. Thanks today to everybody at Pressbox. Thanks to all of our. I thank the guests. Anything tomorrow?
Drew.
Oh God, that's it.
Drew to gloat. He'll gloat about tying with me.
We gotta work on stuff. Thanks everybody at Pressbox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including the Baltimore Orioles, the Costa Sin, your Baltimore area highest dairy stores, Leading Edge Auto Body, Warnken Law, 1-800-GAMBLER, HelpMyGamblingProblem.org, Cruise Maryland, CountySports.zone, your local Toyota dealer, BuyAToyota.com. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great Tuesday evening. Go Birds. Duke sucks.
Respectfully, I seen your titties on the internet, so I can't really take you serious.